April is C-section awareness month. I had a C-section about 10 months ago. I'm still mad, so let's talk about it. This video is for the girlies who are still frustrated about their C-sections, who are mad about it and don't love their scars just yet, or if ever. I see you, I feel you, I am you. So like I said, I had a C-section about 10 months ago. My baby's gonna be 10 months this week and I'm still mad about it. My baby is sleeping, so let's see if we can get through this video before he wakes up. So one of the things that I truly disliked when I started telling my birth story was people saying things along the lines of, thank God this technology, this surgery exists, thank God that you guys are alive. And yes, truly thank God that we are alive and well and healthy, and that this technology truly exists, or this surgery, this life-saving surgery exists for those who truly need it. But the thing is that I am not 100% convinced that my C-section was necessary. And here's why. I had been preparing for an unmedicated vaginal birth since I found out I was pregnant. And I truly believed in the bottom of my soul that I was going to have an unmedicated birth. I just did. I was so confident in it. So part of that preparation, I was doing all the things that I could to make sure that my baby was in the optimal position for birth, meaning he would be head down, facing my spine, like everything was gonna be good. I wanted him to be in that position by like week 35 or something, and he wasn't. But I remember in my week 38 doctor's appointment, I asked my doctor again, is he head down? And she said, yes, he is head down and he is super low in my pelvis. And after that appointment, I was so confident. I was even more confident that I was in the right direction to have the birth that I wanted, that I wasn't even afraid to go into labor or give birth. When people asked, I was like, no, I'm not afraid to give birth because my body was made for this. You know, our bodies were made to give birth, so I'm not afraid. My baby is already head down, he is low into my pelvis, like we're all good. And then by week 39, everything changed. So when I went to my 39-week doctor's appointment, my blood pressure was high and my amniotic fluid was low. And that's when my doctor started talking about getting an induction. And I knew I didn't want an induction because that raises your chances of getting a C-section. So after that appointment, my doctor sent me to labor and delivery to get extra monitoring. And there they basically confirmed my doctor's findings. I was diagnosed with gestational hypertension, so it wasn't preeclampsia, and my amniotic fluid was low. And so they again recommended I get an induction. And this is where everything just starts to go way off my birth plan and everything just kind of goes. Because it didn't matter how much I prepared for this birth, how much I informed myself, how much I read on medical practices and everything. When you're in that position and they use their fear tactics, make you do exactly what they want you to do. So I ended up getting induced. I got the epidural, I got Pitocin, I got the works, and I'm laughing now, but it was no laughing matter. I will link my full birth story in the description below and up here for you. If you're interested to watch my full birth story with all the details, you can go and watch that. So anyway, I was induced on a Monday, and by Wednesday morning, I was in the operating room getting a C-section. So my doctor came into my room Wednesday morning and said, we're moving into a C-section. And I think I kind of blanked out in that moment. And I wish I would have just taken some time. Oh, my baby's awake. To be continued. I think he's settling back into sleep, so let's continue. Where were we? Shit, that scared me, neighbors. She must have dropped something and it scared me. Anyway. So I blanked out, and I wish I would have just asked for more time so I can discuss this with my doula and my husband and kind of have more time to ask questions, because the reality is that it wasn't an emergency. And I didn't realize this until afterwards, I guess. And the reason why I said I wish I had more time, you know, they said it was 6:30 and the doctor said you're gonna get your C-section at 7:30, and that hour felt like 15 minutes. I didn't realize how many people come into your room to prep you for surgery, like the anesthesiologist, the baby's nurse, like all these people come into your room to prep you for surgery. So that hour really felt like 15 minutes, and I didn't have time to say like, wait, hold up, pump the brakes, what's happening? Do I actually really need a C-section like right now? Because like I said, right, it wasn't an emergency, but they really were trying to get me into the operating room at 7:30 because they had another surgery scheduled at o'clock in the morning. So it was either you get the first surgery of the day or you're gonna have to wait until the end of the day. And I honestly wish that I would have had the clear head to just say, I'm gonna wait until the end of the day, because it wasn't an emergency, like I said. And honestly, I think that the whole induction process was what led me to ending up getting a C-section, because I wish if I would have like reversed, I would have paused and pumped the brake at the induction. I didn't need to get induced as well on that Monday morning. My baby was in no risk. My amniotic fluid was low, but it was not like an emergency low. I don't know how else to say it. So I just wish that I would have just gone home, said that I will be back tomorrow to get checked again and see how we're doing, and kind of progressed in that way instead of letting fear set in and then deciding to, okay, fine, I'll go get an induction. And so when my doctor came into my hospital room that Wednesday morning, she said that my baby was not handling the contractions very well. He was very high up on my uterus, and that every time he would try to descend, his heart rate would drop. And again, I'm thinking like, oh, why is he so high up in my uterus? Well, thinking now, but I didn't think that in the moment. When he was super low at my 38-week appointment, he was super low. So I'm thinking like, now that the whole induction process really messed up my whole labor situation. I feel like the baby got stressed out. He retreated. He was like, I'm not ready to come out. You guys are trying to take me out. I'm not ready. Let me finish my days in my mom's womb before I come out. And obviously we didn't allow him those days, so he was kind of pushing back and retreated all the way up to the top of my uterus. And after the C-section, my doctor said that I had a short umbilical cord and it was wrapped around my baby's neck, and then that's why his heart rate was dropping every time he would try to descend. And in my mind now, I think, well, this whole induction process stressed him out and he got wrapped up in the umbilical cord. My baby was super tiny, so he had plenty of room in my belly. But yeah, anyway, moving on. That is a whole other story. And so what they did for my baby's heart rate to kind of level out was turn off the Pitocin. So again, why didn't they just turn off the Pitocin and give me time to see what my body and my baby wanted to do? They didn't. We just moved straight into a C-section. So anyway, here are some C-section stats for you. The C-section rate in the US is about 32%, which is extremely high. It's something about 1 in every 5 births are through C-section, and that is an extremely high amount considering that a lot of these C-sections are unplanned and are non-emergency. And like I said before, I have nothing against C-sections. Like if you truly need it, or if you made an informed decision and decided to get a C-section for yourself because you thought that was the best decision for you, then by all means go ahead and do it. But the fact that they're pushing women who do not want C-sections ending up with a C-section because of the induction process, it's just crazy to me. For an industrialized country, our C-section rate is pretty high. And you can look up the stats on the World Health Organization website and do the research yourself. Because giving birth is one of the most natural things that we can do. Like our bodies are made to give birth, and the medical system sees pregnancy and birth as a medical problem that they need to fix. So that's why they have all these different interventions to prevent it from, I don't know, getting worse or whatever, but they're just meddling in something that doesn't need to be meddled with. Again, unless you have an actual medical condition. If you read into the history of home birth going to hospital birth, like when men saw what women go through during the whole labor process and birth process, and they said, no, we can make this better. So they took it away from midwives and kind of made it standard for everyone to give birth at a hospital. It makes me laugh and cry at the same time, because this is a quote that I got from the website, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess it up. And it says, even after controlling the risk factors that might have made a C-section more likely, the risk of death after the procedure is 3.6 times higher than a vaginal birth. Just keep that in mind. And again, I don't think you have, I want to iterate this, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with C-sections if you truly need it, or if you made an informed decision for yourself. You know, I didn't want a C-section. This is why I'm so upset about it. My battery is dying. Let me change it. Okay, and here are 2 movies that I watched that I think everyone should watch if they are planning to get pregnant or are pregnant. There are two documentaries, and the name of it is Pregnant in America and The Business of Being Born. Those two movies or documentaries, it really opened up my eyes to the whole medical system and how they do things, and how they do it here in America and how they do it in another country where their home birth rate is still pretty high, or it's the standard. And also there's another documentary, this one I didn't watch, but when I was looking up the titles of the ones that I did watch, I saw the trailer and it looked really good, and it's from the perspective of the nurses and medical professionals, so I would definitely want to watch it if I was doing this research again, or I would probably watch it anyway. And it's called Why Not Home, and it gives the perspectives of the nurses and medical professionals, like I said, and it looks really good. So I added it to my list of must-watch documentaries if you want to learn more about giving birth and the whole medical system, the whole C-section rate and all that stuff. And so here is what I wish I did differently in my journey to giving birth. At the top of that list is I wish I would have switched OBs way sooner. I give my OBGYN the benefit of the doubt, and I wish I didn't, because by the time I was like, no, I really need to switch doctors, I couldn't. It was too late. No one was taking patients at, I was like 20 something weeks, and I literally couldn't find someone who was in my network taking my insurance that would take me. And that was very, very frustrating. Getting around or working through your insurance is also a whole other topic that is very, very frustrating when you are pregnant. The fact that medical, like the doctors and the health insurance kind of dictate what you can and cannot do. Like if you can't afford a home birth because of your insurance, then you can't, like you are at the mercy of the doctors. And if you can't find a doctor who has a low C-section rate in your network, in your area, because you can't afford to pay out of pocket, then you're like shit out of luck basically. Anyway, that is another topic that gets me really, really upset. So I'm gonna keep it moving. And the other thing I wish I would have done, I think I kind of mentioned this earlier, which was to like pump the brakes. It wasn't an emergency, kind of take the time and be able to ask more questions. I did try to ask questions. My doctor was such a fucking asshole that she didn't let me ask questions. She patronized me and like made me feel like I was stupid for asking questions, and no one really should make you feel that way, especially when you are in labor in the hospital and at their mercy. But anyway, yeah, switch my doctors, and I wish I would have asked more questions, would have wished I could have advocated for myself better and saying like, no, wait, hold up, like you can't talk to me that way. I need a second, like please give me the room so I can discuss this with my doula and my husband, because I don't want to make any rash decisions. Which I know it's really hard to say when you're in such a vulnerable position of like giving birth, but I wish that's one of the things I wish I would have done. So in conclusion, if you got a C-section and you're still frustrated or mad about it, I see you, I feel you, I am you. I don't think I will ever look at my C-section scar and be like, happy with it or content or at peace. Like I think I will always be mad about how things went down. Obviously I can't change the past, and what is, but I don't think I will ever be that person who looks at her C-section scar and think it's beautiful. And I hate that so much, because as someone who has struggled with body image issues, like I look at my scar, especially postpartum, and I would cry every single time I looked at it, taking care of it so it wouldn't get an infection or whatever. Like I would cry, and now I don't cry, but I still look at it and I'm still pretty upset about it. I don't like it, and obviously it's part of my body, and so this is a journey that I have to work through and get to a place where I, one, love my body again, but be okay with the scar that I have. And again, the reason why I feel that way is because I am not convinced that my C-section was necessary. I'm just not. And also, I just want to say, like, I have never felt guilty for getting a C-section. I have never felt less than of a mom for getting a C-section or any of those things. I know that a lot of the C-section awareness month posts that I have seen on social media kind of geared towards moms who feel guilty about it and feel less about it. I think that it's so stupid when people say like getting a C-section is the easy way out. It is absolutely not. It is major surgery, and we are all strong. It doesn't matter how you became a mom, how you brought your child into this world. Like, we all go through our own journeys and one is not easier than the other. We should all just be supporting each other as moms, you know, as parents, as a community. We are raising the next generation, and we should just all be so proud of ourselves that we have committed to giving life, you know, or providing a life. We should all just be so proud of ourselves. And we should not feel guilty. We should not feel less than. Our bodies did not fail us. I feel like my doctor and the medical system failed me, and that's the way that I look at it. Thank you for listening to this video. Let me know in the comments if you had a C-section, how you feel about it. I love you so much. Stay safe, and I will see you in another video.